Assalamualaikum ma'am. Hello everyone. Let me introduce myself. My name is Silvi Fitria Daulay. NPM 20020500067. Today, I will discuss about Kiai HADJAR Dewantara is the father of Indonesian education. The first, I will discuss about biography of Kiai HADJAR Dewantara. Suwardi Suryaningrat, or better known as Kiai HADJAR Dewantara, was born in Yogyakarta on May 2, 1889. He comes from the family of the Pakualaman II Temple Place. Suwardi is the grandson of Sri Pakualaman III, his father named Kiai Haji Suryaningrat, from the mother side, Raden Ayu Sandia. Little Suwardi received a religious education, which was raised by Kiai Syekh Abdurrahman from Kalasan. He was in the same college with Rahayu Aden Kartini, Kiai Haji Ahmad Dahlan, Kiai Haji Hashim Asy'ari, and Kiai Ahmad Surjementaram under the care of Mbah Soleh, Semarangland. His main education he got at the University Legal School. The second, Kiai HADJAR Dewantara and the struggle for life. Kiai HADJAR Dewantara was a fighter for most of his life with a high fighting spirit. He started his career as a journalist. Kiai HADJAR Dewantara fought for the path of the natives with the sharpness of his pen, namely draw writing that was very critical of the Dutch colonials. Kiai HADJAR Dewantara and her brother Surjo Pranoto. Surjo Pranoto was Budi Utomo's first secretary in Yogyakarta. Surjo Pranoto was nicknamed the Strict Siraja, or the Stalking Sconing. This nickname of the King of Strikes not only saw Surjo Pranoto's militancy that sparked the teacher strike, but also satirized an odd background, namely aristocrats, but radicals and rebels. The third, Kiai HADJAR Dewantara and the political struggle for independence. Kiai HADJAR Dewantara was involved in the current political movement against the Dutch East Indies government. Kiai HADJAR, together with his two other colleagues, namely Dr. Cipto Mangunkusumo and Dr. Douwes Dekker or Dr. Setiabudi, founded the Indisci Partai to be precise on December 25, 1912. They were called the Triumvirate. One of the missions of the Indisci Partai was to achieve Indonesian independence. Movement organizations such as the Indisci Partai firmly stated their non-cooperative and anti-colonial attitude. The three leaders of this Indisci Partai had strong courage in opposing the colonialists who were known to be cruel and cunning. They carried out propaganda in order to ignite and inflame the people's spirit against the colonialists. One of the propaganda tools they used was writing. The fourth, Kiai HADJAR Dewantara and the rise of indigenous journalism. Approaching the 100th anniversary of Dutch independence, Kiai HADJAR Dewantara criticized the Dutch with an article entitled Ak Ik ens Nederlander was. The substance contained in this paper is an illustration of how the Dutch love their homeland. So they also love Indonesia as their homeland. Kiai HADJAR in his writing said, "If I were a Dutchman, I wouldn't be celebrating the independence anniversary in a country that was still colonized. First, keep independence to the people we control, then they can commemorate their own Independence Day." Kiai HADJAR was severe and making a scorching critique that was formulated in written form, meaning courage in themselves. The two of them seem never to be extinguished. The propaganda attacks against the Dutch were repeatedly launched, but they were both successfully timed by the Dutch and arrested because they were considered the most dangerous people in the Dutch East Indies area. As punishment, they were sentenced to a cell and placed in a different room which was kept by a warden. The fifth, Kiai HADJAR Dewantara and the political upheaval of independence. The three of them were exiled to the Netherlands. While in exile, the Netherlands became a place for them to spread the influence of idealism promoted by the Industry Party. Even the three of them returned to the world of journalism. For him, the pen was the fulcrum of strength because from there the current of resistance occurred. Kiai HADJAR Dewantara learned to develop his journalistic knowledge. He studied from Esmeralda, the editor-in-chief of the Hitfold newspaper, and from Mr. Wissing as the daily head, and from the New Amsterdam. The presence of the three Industry Party figures in the Dutch exile had an influence on the Indonesian student organization there, namely Industry Vereniging, which changed its name to the Indonesian Association in 1924. Kiai HADJAR eventually became an important person for this organization, not only active in student organization, but also pioneering his ideals towards the native by studying education and obtaining universal an important and prestigious educational diploma, which later became his policy in establishing the Taman Siswa Educational Institution. Kiai HADJAR was captivated by the ideas of educational leader Rabindranath Tagore through the system. Educational known as a Santiniketan, the three Industry Party, people who were exiled in the Netherlands, began to spread their influence so that students from Indonesia began to be moved against the Dutch. The sixth. Kiai HADJAR Dewantara and the vision of national education. Kiai HADJAR's awareness related to the problems began to crack. He felt an imbalance in the education system taught by the colonial government. The colonial education system, elite-style memes tended to be discriminatory and only oriented to colonial interests. This is what makes national education so important, which focuses on the interests of the people. At first, the problem in the world of education made the movement leaders feel close to find a way out. So, the Tuesday Kliwon Gathering Forum was formed, which was centralized in Yogyakarta. The main vision carried by this forum is reflected in its motto, Kemayu Hayuning Sarira, Memayu Hayuning Bangsa, Memayu Hayuning Manungsa. Sometime later, Kiai HADJAR Dewantara founded a student park college on July 3, 1922 as a form of actualization of national university and education that focuses on the interests of the indigenous people. This is a form of colonial-style education. Ordinance 1932, one of the items of the ordinance was that the colonial authorities had the authority to intervene in all activities carried out by private school, which Kiai HADJAR considered to be able to hinder the movement of student parks, meaning that the colonial party had the right to stop private school. The historical journey of Taman Siswa in educating indigenous people saw that sincerity and selfless dedication are needed to educate the nation generation. For Kiai HADJAR Dewantara, education means the growth of the mind and body and development of inner and outer, meaning that the physical and spiritual dimension must manifest in the unity of body and soul. The 7. Kiai HADJAR Dewantara in the cultural struggle. Education is a cultural effort based on civilization, namely at passing life in order to increase the degree of humanity. The idea of character education can be seen in the figure of Kiai HADJAR. History records that Kiai HADJAR has pioneered character education with the concept of 3 education centers. Spirituality starts from 3 education centers. 1. Family environment, 2. School environment, 3. Community environment. One of the highest struggle of Kiai HADJAR Dewantara, which has colored the facts of the history of the Indonesian nation in the reconstruction of culture. Kiai HADJAR not only understand culture as an architectural, cultural identify, but culture can be used as a bulwark in defending and fighting for the ideals of safety, happiness, and glory. Culture derives from the word body or reason, and power or strength are a group of values that should be the pillars of the struggle of the natives. Because for Kiai Hajar, culture is not only understood as cultural pride that is ignorant of colonialism. The last, Kiai Hajar Dewantara and Indonesian Fine Arts. Kiai Hajar Dewantara is a figure among important national heroes in the realm of Indonesian art. Yes, pillar art is an important part for everyone deserves food and clothing. The evidence is that it absorbs art. One of them is as a creative instrument in the national struggle movement. He didn't hesitate, and often he and Sukarno and Hatta talk about palace paintings, including considering paintings as a part of the image of an independent nation. Together with Sukarno, Hatta, and Mas Mansur, they changed the cultural and social direction into a strong national entity. The main event in history that needs to be observed is also the existence of a student park. Taman Siswa was the brainchild of Kiai Hajar Dewantara and his activities in Yogyakarta, who were very brave and brilliant. The dedication of Kiai Hajar Dewantara in 1889 until 1959 in the history of the Indonesian nation was very large and is still a valuable reference. In second, the substance of the government into the hands of the government itself, Kiai Hajar Dewantara attended the proclamation of the independence of the Republic of Indonesia, which the next day, Saturday, August 1945, Kiai Hajar Dewantara was appointed as a new member of the Preparatory Committee for Indonesian Independence. Because of his struggle in the field of education and his relatively afraid position or with of the forces of power during the struggle for the proclamation of Indonesian independence, Kiai Hajar Dewantara was appointed the first Indonesian Minister of Education in the composition of Indonesian First Cabinet led by President Sukarno and Deputy Muhammad Hatta. Seeing this invaluable dedication, the award in the form of a national hero who pioneered independence and the father of national education seemed to be not exceptionally pinned to him. Even May 2, which was his birthday, was celebrated as National Education Day in 1959. Okay, until here is my explanation about Kiai Hajar Dewantara. I hope my story is useful for you. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.